Hello, we're going to take a look at the Fritzbox 7590. This has a very glossy finish to it. You can see my reflection there. This is a new styling, but it retains the AVM white and red colour scheme. It's lost the Jetsons look to it, and I think it looks pretty cool now. It's got plenty of airflow at the bottom, and it stands up a little bit to allow the air to go through. On the bottom's the usual sticker showing you the access keys. It's got this lovely new curved design. You've got a phone plug there, which you probably wouldn't use in the UK. Round the back, huge number of ports, DSL port, WAN port. You can see various phone ports for use with fax lines, things like that. You've then got gigabit LAN ports, and you've also got a USB 3 port. There is a second USB 3 port around the other side. So this thing has a ton of features that makes use of all of these different ports. Along with the box, you get various cables to get this set up with, phone cables, Ethernet cables, splitters. Do be aware though that this particular unit may come with an international plug, so you may need an adapter, and it worked fine with that for me. Setup was very easy. This uses the excellent Fritz OS. It's just a matter of following the instructions, clicking through next, next, next. You'll need to select the type of connection you've got. So I'm using this on Virgin, so I'm not using this directly. You put in your upstream and downstream, and eventually you will be ready to set up your phones. This is a full phone system. Setting up phones was very easy because this can be a decked base station. So if you've already got phones, you simply follow the instructions. You'll need to type in a special PIN code on your phone that will connect your existing handset to the device, and then any calls can be routed to your existing phones from the Fritzbox. You've got a huge number of options. It can have numbers for incoming, numbers for outgoing, and if you want to, you can even use this with your mobile. So you take the phone you've just connected, type in a special code to authorize the mobile via the app, and your mobile phone is now part of the same phone system as your existing decked phones. Answering on the mobile stops the call ringing through on the decked phone. So this is just a quick overview of the Fritz OS that I've now logged into, and you get a really nice dashboard. So I've got this set up for both internet and the telephony. I've got two numbers enabled. One of them is a SIP number, one of them is a fixed line. Anything in blue you can click on, get more information, or go to different screens, and this just gives a really nice overview. So straight away when we log in, we can see the IP address, we can see the two telephone numbers set up, we can see we've had one call today, we can see who calls are off. If the number isn't in the address book, we can add it to the address book just by pressing this number, and we can say create as new, or you can add to an existing contact. And when we come back to the screen now, you see it's listed as the name that we've just entered. So you've got the date and time of call, so it's full telephone system. It can also act as an answering machine, and unfortunately when you press play it downloads the file, it doesn't just open it. But let's have a quick listen.
This is a quick test of the Fritzbox answering machine.
Down here you can see it's picked up that I'm using powerline adapters on my network, and you've got telephone book, 4 contacts, you've got NAS because there's an inbuilt NAS on this, and you also got Fritzbox services in case you want to access this remotely. Skipping over to the internet options, you've got the connection settings where you can set your upstream and downstream. You can say how you want it to connect. So because I'm using Virgin, I'm connecting this to an external modem and router, but you can connect it straight to a DSL line. It supports IPv6. You've got access for your home network and external access as well, so you can access this remotely if you want to. Telephony just gives you the full list of what's going on. So you've got all calls, when they are, you've got outgoing calls, incoming calls, any missed calls. So answering machine, you can set that up. We can say settings, and we can adjust it from 5 seconds, accept immediately, depending on what you want. You've got recorded message, you've got all sorts of options. A really nice feature is you can schedule when the answering machine is working and what kind of operation it is doing. So you can either record the message, greeting only, totally up to you, and you can set when that happens. It's got inbuilt telephone books, you've got alarm clocks that will ring your phone. It can also act as an integrated fax function. If you happen to know anyone that wants to send you a fax, you can do so via the Fritzbox, you can receive those. You've got call handling, so you can block certain numbers. So some of this will require you to have things like caller identity on your line. That's not always provided, but most places will provide it now if you ask them to. And you've got various dialing rules, carrier prefixes, so you can set prefixes before you dial out. Telephone devices, you can see a list of all the devices that you've got hooked up to this. So we've got the answering machine, we've got a DeX handset, we've got the app that's being used, we've got various mobiles, and we've got a normal telephone also hooked up. And under telephone numbers, you can manage the telephone numbers that you have. So as you can see here, we've got an internet number and a landline number. So as you'd expect from Home Network Overview, you get exactly that, an overview. You've got various settings that you can adjust and check out. You can see IP addresses and adjust various settings. Smart home section's a little bit misleading, as I think it's only AVM Fritz branded smart devices. I've got a ton of smart devices, and when I try and register them, nothing happens. It doesn't pick them up. So I think that's for use with other products that maybe aren't available in the UK at this time. In terms of the wireless menu, you've got a ton of information about the network, whether you want the 2.4 and 5 both, whether you want to change the name of those, totally up to you. You can change the channel. I've got it set to automatically, but there is a ton of information about the wireless environment as well. It scans the wireless environment, gives you, so this is the 2.4, but we can switch to the 5 gigahertz, gives you information about what's going on. Tons of diagrams, and here's all the various Wi-Fi networks near me. To demo the Wi-Fi capabilities, I'm going to go for a little walk. The Fritzbox is the green spiked graph there. I've not had any problems with the Wi-Fi at all, so here we're in a different room. In that room also is the Virgin router, which I've got running, so you'd expect that to be as powerful. If we go upstairs, you can see we're now stood over the Virgin router, and that's why it's a little bit more powerful than the Fritzbox. If we go and stand over the Fritzbox though, you can see that that starts to increase. If we change the scanner from the 2.4 gigahertz to the 5 gigahertz network, you can see the Fritzbox is way ahead of the Virgin SuperHub 3. We'll now go and stand over the SuperHub. You can see the Fritzbox is still mighty powerful. Really nicely, you can set this, again, a bit like telephone system, you can set this to work on a schedule. So if you want to shut it down after a certain time, maybe out of work hours, you can do so. There's also options for guest access, and you can use this as either an access point or a repeater. So overall, AVM have done another fantastic job with this. I love the redesign, it looks loads better. And once again, the Fritz OS is hugely feature packed. This is a very feature rich device. As such, it's quite an expensive device. It's brilliant though if you are in the market for a home office solution that allows you to manage various networks, various phone lines, home line, work line, all that kind of stuff. The integration with the apps is superb, and this offers just such a huge range of features. It's not for the faint-hearted, and if you are just looking for a simple router, this probably isn't the one for you. But if you're looking for something that has a massive range of options, as well as the phone system built in, this is definitely worth checking out. I hope you found this short review useful. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I'll see you next time.